So I might be late to the party on this one, but today something came over me. I felt like I needed to make a video about this, and I'm probably going to make a video about it in the future, probably multiple more, because it's something that, of course, is becoming more and more prevalent in our society. More and more people are starting to use it. More and more people are starting to talk about it. And that is about artificial intelligence. Now, I just want to preface this by saying, I'm not a computer scientist. I am not a quantum physicist or whatever the hell else. I am just a lowly layman when it comes to all of that. I studied evolutionary biology in university, and to tell you the truth, even the human brain wasn't even my specialty when it came to that. So what I want to talk about today, at the very least, is should we worry about it? Now, I know many of you have probably heard of a bunch of different tools that are coming out. Soundraw, which is that AI music general. Dalle-2, I think I'm pronouncing that right, which is that text-to-image generator where you can create AI art. And then, of course, infamously, ChatGPT, which is that text prompt conversational interface that lots of people are using now. They're becoming much more prevalent for content creation, especially you'll notice people using ChatGPT for writing copy, their emails, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. And it makes sense, of course, if you're busy, let's say if you're a freelance salesperson and you need to send all of these outreach emails, or you have clients to get back to, it's easy to use to build a template off of. You can use it like that, or you can take the time to build a template. But if it works for some people, go for it. For Soundraw as well, if you're creating content and you want to have a unique royalty-free music, you can go for that. Dalle-2, of course, to create thumbnails, whatever else. And I do see how it can be, how it is a very powerful tool, especially for these content creators and for these freelancers as well, because it does make life a lot easier. I understand also that some people are really worried that these AI tools will almost not price out, but they'll essentially lock actual artists, actual copywriters, actual musicians out of the market, because, well, why hire them when I have this AI tool which I can pay a subscription towards and keep going forward. Now, I don't necessarily think this is the case. I think when Neil deGrasse Tyson was on the Joe Rogan Experience, he had stated that you can, if you tell an AI like Dalle to, plug into the text thing, give me a painting in the style of Van Gogh or whatever, and it'll create something really beautiful. But it only knows how to do that because it has the data in its interface. This is one of the reasons why I don't think we should worry too much about AI, because really it's at the very least, what I gather from it is that it's only as intelligent as we make it, because we have to keep feeding it data, keep plugging in information so that way it can learn. And again, I'm not an expert on machine learning, so please feel free to correct me down in the comments about this. This is just what I get from it. Now, I agree with that. I agree with Neil deGrasse Tyson's statement, because again, if you're an artist, you can definitely withhold your work, and in that sense, it also, because you're not putting it into that AI's database where it can draw from, you are keeping it essentially outside of the digital world. One, thereby it makes it more exclusive. Yes, it is a little bit more difficult for people to find it, maybe in that case, but then at the same time, I think that also, creating that exclusivity with art is definitely a huge selling point. But then at the same time, you also won't have to worry about your unique style being, I don't want to say plagiarized, but the AI using your work as inspiration to create something very similar. Same thing goes with Soundraw, and ChatGPT is the one that is perhaps the most well-known one, but it's the one that I'm the least familiar with. But at the same time, I think my issue with it, and again, this is not I'm sort of rambling at this point, so forgive me. I think that a lot of people are using it more so like an oracle, where ChatGPT has all of these answers. And I mean, you're hearing kids use it to write their school papers and whatever else. And fair play, shout out to the kids, because I mean, shit, it's a wonderful exploit. How are the teachers going to know? They have software to detect plagiarism. However, do they have software that can detect if this was written by an AI or not? Now, of course, that's going back to why I don't think we should worry about it. One, because it's only as smart as we make it. Two, and this is perhaps a very simplistic one, there's an off switch. We can always unplug it and discontinue it. I think where the majority of people worry about AI is perhaps like who is developing the AI and for what purpose. There's an incredible amount of insecurity in the human condition where we think that we're eventually going to be supplanted, Terminator status by an artificial intelligence. I don't necessarily think this is a case because, again, we have that off switch. Just turn it off before it gets too crazy. And I think if we are going to go the Terminator Skynet route, whoever built that intelligence was really, really irresponsible, because of course you have to build certain barriers. It's like raising a kid, right? You have to build certain barriers, and of course as it grows, then you can sort of slowly expand the horizon, but you always have to keep, I guess, AI on a leash, right? The ethics portion of this is interesting, but I'm going to probably cover that in a separate video. I think that even though a lot of people are concerned about, okay, what's the future of it? They're more so worried about who's controlling it and for what purpose it is. Perhaps there's another way to look at this. Maybe we can learn from AI. Maybe it can be not quite the oracle, but that spark of inspiration that we have. Perhaps you might be able to look at an AI generated art to come up with a style of your own, if you're a painter, for example. Or if you're suffering from writer's block, perhaps you can consult ChatGPT in order to figure out some bullet points for a script outliner for your book. There's a lot of potential there, I think. But what I do think is another big question with this is the ownership of the information. Of course, if you're contributing to ChatGPT, for example, and you're helping it learn by providing it a sample of your writing, and if ChatGPT uses your style to give another person an answer, is it still yours? I guess is what I'm trying to say. And this is where sort of intellectual property also comes into play. Now, I've rambled a lot, and I'm bandying around a lot of concepts. I think this is essentially going to be the first episode, because this is very off the cuff. I think this is going to be the first episode in a little series that I do where I try to explore a little bit more about AI and why we shouldn't worry about it. But perhaps I'm going to keep an open mind. My mind might be changed, and I might end up taking a neo-Luddite stance and say, no, we should, down with AI, and we should go the Frank Herbert Dune way and say, no machine shall be made in the likeness of man's mind. But for right now, I don't think we have anything to worry about. I think it's a learning opportunity for everybody, the machine and the human included, or if you want to say the ghost in the machine. But at the risk of rambling further, I'll put a pin in it there. Please let me know what your thoughts were in the comments below. What are your thoughts on AI? Do you use any of the tools? Are you worried about it, or are you excited to see what the future holds for both human and artificial intelligence? Drop a like on the video and a comment down below to share your thoughts. And as always, thank you so much for watching.